Hello and welcome to this short video about the Farm of the Future program that we have in the Netherlands. My name is Peter Proman and I'm a researcher at Wageningen University and Research. With the following slides and in this short video I will present to you what the Farm of the Future is, why and how it was created and who we created it with, who was involved, and maybe our approach, our Farm of the Future program can be an inspiration for you. So I will also end this video by giving a few suggestions for steps that can be taken to apply this type of approaches in any context. If we look at why the Farm of the Future, there is a sense of urgency to change the way food is produced and consumed in the 21st century, to change the way land is used, to change the whole food system so that all actors involved are in balance in a social, environmental, and also economic perspective. And agriculture is actually in the center of influence in several of the big crises we have in society today. The biodiversity crisis, the collapse of biodiversity, climate change, and also the nitrogen crisis. So all these crisis topics, there is an urgency for change in our agricultural systems. And to find some solutions is absolutely necessary. So this is why we are implementing our Farm of the Future program. And if we look at the local context here in the Netherlands, the Ministry of Agriculture and Dutch society as a whole is demanding a more sustainable agri-food system based on the principles of circular farming, considering solutions to the challenges of climate change, solutions for adaptation and mitigation, and also the need for a sharp reduction in the use of agricultural inputs as demanded from the European Council. And the Ministry of Agriculture here in the Netherlands is also very focused on finding solutions to the high land and labor costs that we see. So this is why we are developing our Farm of the Future program, to find a profitable and sustainable farming system for the future within environmental limits, focusing on yields and cost-effective production with minimal use of resources, minimal emissions, and maintaining or regenerating the agro ecosystem. This is why we are implementing our program, the Farm of the Future. Yes, then if we look at what is the Farm of the Future? The Farm of the Future is a Dutch initiative in which Wageningen University and Research and Dutch farmers are working together on feasible solutions to the challenges faced by agriculture in the Netherlands, exploring the options for profitable and sustainable farming. And the Farm of the Future here in the Netherlands consists of 4 components. A stakeholder platform where partners and stakeholders come together to find solutions to the agriculture of the future. An innovation platform where ideas are shared and prototypes are developed, mainly in our experimental field stations, but also across our laboratories and other research facilities. And then also the field lab, where innovations are integrated, tested, and demonstrated in the field in an integrated manner. And then we also have a 4th component that we consider our national network, where we have farms of the future being developed in other regions and also in other sectors. So we have there some joint learning across different programs of implementations of this type of research for development and agricultural transformation, to have some joint learning in a national network. These are the 4 components that we consider this is the farm of the future. Then if we look at the goals of the farm of the future, what are we mainly looking to achieve? So first of all, farmers are in the center of this program. And we are hoping to improve the socio-economic position of farmers, and also restoring or maintaining natural resources, and creating a resilient cultivation system. And this should be almost without the use of pesticides or synthetic fertilizers. It should be a system that is energy neutral, going towards being energy producing, and a production system that is connected with nature, restoring and preserving biodiversity. And as mentioned, a climate resilient production system. Yes, if we then think about how did the farm of the future develop, the farm of the future was developed on the basis of agroecological principles supported by advanced technology and data management. The design process of the farm of the future happened through extensive multi-stakeholder consultation rounds, where every actor in the food system was heard, listened to, and acted upon. A continuous multi-stakeholder approach. And at this moment, our researchers and our partners are working on each of these 16 building blocks of our farm of the future in an integrated way of the agroecological components and technological components, a combination of different approaches, and then the implementation in the field, from basic to in-field applied research. And also to mention that the farm of the future builds on principles of nature-inclusive agriculture, which invites nature to be part of farms and use nature-based solutions, validating the supporting, regulating and cultural ecosystem services of farms, not only the production and provisioning of food. And also the farm of the future builds on principles of regenerative agriculture, which aims to restore soil health and reverse the biodiversity loss. And then if we think about water management, with the effects of climate change, water management will become increasingly important in the future. And therefore water management is therefore also part of the farm of the future. And if we look at the need for proper water management options, we can have some that are more at a high level. Here I've mentioned detailed groundwater analysis, water balancing system, looking at inputs and outputs of water in our production system, water storage in the soil, deep underground infiltration, and also the construction of wetlands to improve water quality. But we can also think about more on-farm practices, such as pressurized irrigation technologies, targeted drip irrigation, the integrated use of water and rainwater harvesting, wastewater reuse, the construction of pits and earthen banks, canal lining, mulching, cover crops and others. So there are many options that will increasingly be important in the future for water management. And this is also part of our Farm of the Future in the Netherlands. If we then look at the design process, how was the Farm of the Future designed? It was a program of design that was an iterative process done with all stakeholders involved, or we try to get as many stakeholders involved as possible, work with them in workshops, and first of all, identifying the challenges that we see and come to a conclusion of a shared vision with all stakeholders about what are the main challenges that we should focus on. Then goals and targets for these goals within a time frame are developed. And here it's important to think about feasible solutions. And these are also developed in a combination of workshops and communications with our partners and stakeholders in an iterative process. And the design then is over the cropping season, or mainly between seasons, is being fine-tuned and adapted. And also this is done with our stakeholders, our partners, mainly in workshops. And the project plan on an annual basis is drafted by us as researchers, but it's then also discussed with our partners, is presented to the steering committee, and eventually submitted to our financiers and partners for approval. So the design process continuously is a process of involving all stakeholders in a strong collaboration, I would say, especially with young farmers that will be the farmers of the future. Yes, so who is involved in the Farm of the Future? And here I would like to say everyone, or we would like to involve everyone who has an interest and is of importance for farming in the future. And this is within our local context. And then if we look at our program and the partners and project participants, the multi-stakeholder program, it actually came to be through the needs assessment and the opportunities presented by the Knowledge Institute, us from Wageningen University and Research, and then presented to the national and local governments who are interested in finding solutions for agriculture in the future. And there we were then in discussion and came up with a multi-stakeholder approach to this. And the main donor is the Ministry of Agriculture. If you get inspired by our program, you may be thinking, how can you apply the Farm of the Future approach in your context to support a transition towards more sustainable and better production? And this, I would actually say, any farm can do, or in any region, a program can work on a Farm of the Future. And this can be done along mainly 4 tracks. The first is good agricultural practice. And there, I would say the importance is to get the basics right first. It doesn't make a lot of sense to embark on a transition towards improvement if you do not have the basics right. So it's important to have good agricultural practices in place first. Then the second track is to shift towards a program with less dependence on agrochemicals. And thereafter, we can think about including agroecology in practice. And this is implementing some nature-based solutions in our agricultural systems. And finally, then also thinking about how can we take advantage of new modern technology and new innovative technologies. So if we look at these 4 tracks in a more detail, I would say, then when I'm saying good agricultural practice, I'm thinking mainly about irrigation, fertilizer, integrated pest management, and good variety choice using resilient, let's say, resistant and robust varieties. Then, if we think about the shift towards less agrochemicals, we then are thinking about having some more advanced integrated pest management, for example, thinking about the organic matter in the soil, practices that can increase organic matter, and then also thinking about good practices, for example, using cover crops and using good crop rotations. Then, if we think about the 3rd track, what I also call putting agroecology into practice, here some of these practices include some that can increase the populations of natural enemies, having practices that increase water retention in the soil. And also this can, for example, be with the use of planting trees and shrubs that can enhance the natural enemy populations. But this can also be done with flower strips, and also definitely something like buffer strips for our chemical applications is important, not to have runoff or effects of our agrochemicals in the surrounding area of our plots. Then the last track about new technologies. This is where here I'm thinking mainly about smart mechanization, mobile applications for mobile phones, but also using especially sensor operated practices in the field that can make our applications more precise. And this can be with drone mounted sensors, for example, or tractor mounted sensors, and there we then include better precision agriculture, but also the use of fixed track farming using special tractors and mechanization that has less effect on the soil with soil compaction and so on, to have a better regeneration of our soil, not spoiling our soil with huge tractors. So also in the Netherlands, we are now having real solutions for more lightweight machinery that can be used. Yeah, thank you for listening along. I hope you have been inspired and can reflect some of your own efforts in our components. And good luck making agriculture more sustainable. I hope to see you in the future.